Hey friends, how's it going? This is Spira. I know it's been a little while. I'm not making videos as often as I used to, and that's because of this. Behind me is my yoga studio that I was finally able to reopen. I did originally try opening a space in 2020, and my opening date was March 15th of 2020, and as you know, we all know what happened. So anyway, I finally got to reopen. I'm really excited about that. And also in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of studying and a lot of training. And that is why today I'm going to talk to you about what I'm studying now, which is somatic experiencing. If you've never tried somatic experiencing, it's pretty amazing. I guess that's the only way to describe it. It was created by Dr. Peter Levine, and this started in Canada a while ago, actually. I'm not exactly sure what year, but he's been doing this for decades. And it's interesting because, trauma healing as we know it here in the United States was not really a thing. And I know that for me, when I was first diagnosed, there was nothing offered to me at all. There were no healing modalities. There was just, here's your diagnosis, and that was it. So today we know that trauma is finally a mainstream word. We're all talking about it, and those of us who have it are comfortable talking about it, where maybe before we weren't. There's just so much progress that's been made. So I've tried a number of things. One of the things I'm doing now currently with my personal therapist is IFS, Internal Family Systems. You may remember that I did mention that before in a video that I made about like what kinds of therapies do work for trauma. At the time, I was not able to talk about somatic experiencing because I didn't have any experience with it whatsoever. However, I've started training in it. I've already completed level 1 in my certification. I'm also ready to take on clients at this point, even though there is a little bit more training to do, which is really just going in a little bit deeper and a little more detailed. However, after level 1, we're allowed to practice. So if you're interested in that, reach out. Having said all of that, it's a really, really cool process. And basically what it is locating sensations inside of your body for various things. For example, maybe you're having a hard day and you're feeling a bit off or dysregulated. You can sit down with your practitioner, and the beautiful part, and I've said this many times before, that you don't have to talk about your trauma to heal your trauma. And that's how somatic experiencing works. We talk about it a little bit, but just enough to locate the activation in the body. And when I say activation, I mean any kind of a sensation that might be connected to a thought or a feeling. So for example, I might start talking about a specific incident, but as soon as I become a little bit activated, we'll pause and we'll focus on that. We'll focus on the sensations. And then there's a whole process that you go through with your practitioner with that sensation. And without going into too much detail, I don't want to confuse you or anything, but it's a slower process, and it really causes us to slow down more than we ever thought that we could. And there's a lot of beauty in that for me personally, because sometimes, we move quickly to get through some of these difficult emotions instead of processing them fully. And so what this process does is it helps you to process your emotions fully and completely. And there is a completion to it, which is really nice. It's just that it takes a lot longer. So there are a lot of things that you can do to help get relief. I'm a big proponent of TRE, trauma and tension release, or tension and trauma release, and I still am. However, I guess if I had to compare at this point, I think what I would say is, I love TRE and I still practice it, and what that helps me with the most is chronic pain, which has been a bear for me for 30 years. And right now, as I speak to you, I am not having any pain. and that's because the TRE works for that. It just keeps shaking everything loose. So any excess tension that could possibly get stuck in my body, it actually helps to release that now, which is really great. So I'm not really like holding on to stuff as much. And the other thing that it's helpful with is if I'm just kind of slightly dysregulated, if I feel off, sometimes I'm dysregulated and I don't realize that I'm dysregulated. Like say for example, I have a few things to do and I don't know where to start, and I start to get really confused, and then I put it off and I'll go do something else, or get distracted, or I'll get up and pace around, you know. I'm not able to settle. I'm not able to just like sit down and get focused and do something. Side note, I'm starting to think that that's where a lot of ADHD comes from. And what we think are ADHD symptoms are really just trauma symptoms, like the avoidance of a emotion or a feeling or a thought or a sensation that we've buried. It's just a theory right now. I'm not a scientist, but I'm starting to see these connections. So food for thought. Anyway, so for me, yeah, that's how I know I'm dysregulated, even just a little bit. And so the first tool that I reach for is TRE. I'll get on my mat and I'll tremor. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and suddenly I'm back to normal. So for me, TRE is amazing in the moment, and it helps me to deal with things right away in the short term. And it also, like I said, helps to keep my physical body less tense and releases tension in the muscles that I have. And where somatic experiencing steps in and fills in the gaps for me is it actually helps me to process everything, like really process it fully. And like I said, it is a slower process and it's going to take me a bit longer. So I'm looking at somatic experiencing as more a long-term permanent solution. And I'm looking at TRE now as a short-term solution to find relief from the physical and even mental discomfort in the moment. I still don't know how permanent TRE can be. I have been practicing TRE for a few years now. I think I started in 2019, so I'm going on 5 years practicing TRE, which is kind of cool. And yeah, like I said, it's really helped me tremendously. But there's still, for me, because I have complex PTSD, and everybody's different, right? Like with regular PTSD, it's like one singular event. You can most likely find relief from that singular event and healing from that event in a fairly short period of time. But when you have chronic or childhood trauma, which is, took place over a number of years, that's just going to take a lot longer to untangle and unwind and process through your nervous system. And so, as I said, for me, I do think that that is where somatic experiencing is really helpful. I will also add that there are parallels between IFS, internal family systems, and somatic experiencing, because in internal family systems, you do also start by focusing on any sensations. And it's not just sensations. I should also add that anything associated with this thought or memory or feeling, it can be something visual. For example, you might sense or see a color. It doesn't always have to be a sensation. It could be a shape. There could be any type of imagery associated with it as well. And then hopefully that can help you to identify the actual emotion. So yeah, it's kind of a complex process, but it's effective, and I'm really happy to be studying it, and so far so good. I'm also really happy to be offering it because, as you know, ever since I had to leave my teaching job, my new mission in life is to help other people like me who have had trauma and who need to know ways of working with it, of dealing with it, of processing it, of healing it, which does take time. And for me, since I was a teacher, the big thing is education, and that's why I make these videos, is to use education to hopefully help empower you as it has empowered me to continue on my journey. Other than that, as on a personal note, I'm always trying to give you little updates on how I'm feeling. I'm actually feeling pretty good these days. My depression has been an absolute bear for the last few years, but since I opened the yoga studio, it's actually lightened up quite a bit. One, I'm keeping really busy because I have so much to do. Like, there's still just learning how to run a business. And also the best part though is because I own the studio, I'm here all the time, right? And I get to meet everybody coming in. And as you may or may not know, human connection is actually a wonderful healing modality. It's part of our nervous system. So the ability to connect with other people is very healing. And that is actually working with the vagus nerve, which is something that we talk a lot about in the trauma realm, right? So I'm getting a lot of benefit just from meeting people and having them come in and sharing smiles, and also offering yoga, because yoga makes everybody feel better. And so it's something that I get to share, and it's something that people really like and appreciate. And so being here together and creating this space has been great for my own mental health, and it's definitely put me in a better mood and has improved my motivation, getting a little bit of my energy back too, which is nice. Definitely more mental clarity, which was also a big issue for me. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you might recall, like, early on, I was still having a hard time, like, tripping over words or recall and stuff like that. And I still have some minor issues with that. But overall, my recall has improved, my processing speed basically has improved, and I can think a little quicker. I'm getting a lot of my sharpness back too, which is really awesome. So anyway, that's my update. Things are going pretty well. Cross your fingers for me with this business, because as all businesses go, you don't make a profit yet for a long time. But I'm still happy to be here, and I'm happy to have it started. So in closing, I welcome you to look up somatic experiencing if you're curious. Peter Levine does have a ton of videos on it, and they do have their own channel as well. And yeah, if you're interested in learning more, look me up. And the website address is embodyschool.com, which is very easy to find. And I also have a course coming up, a 8-week series for therapeutic yoga for trauma recovery. So if you're interested in trying that type of yoga, I do include a little bit of somatic experiencing in with this yoga class, which is my way of adding my own little flavor to helping you heal your trauma as well. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening and watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. You are awesome, and I'm growing slowly but surely. I'm kind of amazed that my channel has grown a little bit, so it's pretty exciting. And as always, I wish you health and happiness. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, and may you be free from suffering. Namaste.